Welcome to Sipping with Maria and Tika G. We got to pay these bills, so let go. Here's a word from our sponsors. Anchor has tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. When hosted on Anchor, you can distribute your podcast on listening platforms like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and more.
It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. And best of all, Anchor is totally free.
Whoop whoop!
Boop! Download the Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started.
Today. Sipping with Maria and Tika G. Sipping with Maria and Tika G. We don't talk about politics, religion, or celebrities.
Here.
Sipping with Maria and Tika G. Sipping with Maria and Tika G. We don't talk about politics, religion, or celebrities.
Here.
Catch us every Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and don't forget your wine. Sipping with Maria and Tika G. Sipping with Maria and Tika G. We don't talk about politics, religion, or celebrities.
Here.
Sipping with Maria and Tika G. Sipping with Maria and Tika G. We don't talk about politics, religion, or celebrities.
Here.
Welcome to Sipping with Maria and Tika G, where we do not talk about politics, religion, or celebrities. We feel like there are enough blogs, vlogs, and other podcasts that talk about that stuff. Welcome to Throwback Thursday. This season, we're going back. We're going to go back and revisit the top 10 topics with the most plays. Last week, we started with number 10, which was season 1, episode 6, What Causes Conflict Between Siblings, with 80 plays up to date. Yay! Today's topic is what do you value in a relationship, with 81 plays. Tika.
Hey,
Hey, Dana.
Dana.
She around here
Hello.
somewhere. Oh, okay. So she around here somewhere. Okay. Last week you wasn't here, Dana. We talked about what causes conflict between siblings. Would you like to revisit that topic and put your 2 cents in it?
Yes, I still would say favoritism. Yeah, favoritism will still be my number one.
Okay. And Tika, for the question, what do you value in relationships? What was your responses to that?
Well, a few people were saying that every relationship has been different, so they have valued different things. But it's looking like what was important was honesty, no matter if you're doing right or wrong. So I guess pretty much being open about, because even in relationships, you're a single being, in a relationship, you just happen to be together with someone. So I guess they were saying letting each other know what's going on and being open about it.
Mm-hmm.
No secrets, no surprises, or say things that are happy. Say something happy about what's going on. Don't hide it.
I agree. Honesty is definitely one of my things that I value in a relationship. Like, don't lie to me. Don't have me out here looking stupid. So if I ask you something, if I ask you something and I ask you ever asked a question like you already know the answer? I'm one of those people that in certain situations, if I ask you a question, I ask questions in different ways. I'll ask you a question where I already know the answer to it, or I ask you a question for you to go ahead and answer it. And when you answer it, I want you to tell me the truth. Simple as that. I don't, so I agree. Honesty is with the number one thing that I value in a relationship. What about you, Dana?
I would agree, honesty. Some people can't handle honesty. Some people can't even much be honest with themselves. So how do you expect them to be honest with the next person?
I agree with that.
You know,
just you don't have to lie. There's no reason to lie. What are you gaining by a lie? So people don't understand that.
People do it all the time, which is not shocking at all. So let's go back. Let's rewind and go back to last week's question. Tika, what was your answers for that again? What causes conflict between siblings other than favoritism? I think you had some different answers.
Yeah, there is saying jealousy of the siblings, and then remember we did talk about that money was a major issue, and we did touch on when someone passes away in the family and they have barely taken their last breath, and then family members are coming and saying, "Where's the money?"
How do you
Are coming and taking things out of the home and think or believing that they're valuable, or just taking things out of the home period and saying this person would have wanted me to have this, and that creates issues in the family. Of course, nothing we all know is barely ever written down or set with a lawyer or things like that, and so it creates arguments and conflict in the families, because they're saying, what makes you the person who deserves, this, that, and the other, and without even thinking about the person. It seems like the person is just kind of forgotten in that moment, and people are saying, where's the money?
Dana, how do you feel about that comment, the money situation where the person passes away and now the family is fighting over who gets what?
Well, it is. Tika's right. It is so common, and it's sad where it doesn't become about mourning the loss of that family member. It's about greed and what they can get when this person has closed their eyes, and that's so sad. And they don't think about if that person had children, how is that person children feeling at this time. They're not thinking about none of that. They're thinking about the loss of that loved one. And we tend to forget the small things at times in that feeling, to be empathetic, to be understanding.
And that would definitely cause a conflict between siblings. Excuse me, money, relationships, period. You have, and favoritism, is gonna always be my number one. Other things that you value in a relationship other than honesty, Tika?
Other than honesty, I value space.
You said space?
Space, yes. Space in a relationship is important. You don't have to necessarily always be around the person or constantly connected. Like old people say, connected at the hip, I guess. You don't have to be, everybody needs space.
I agree with that. I am one of those people. My boyfriend is home. He's off. When he's off work, he's off back to back, and that's just too long. That's too much for me. I need him to be off one day, work the next day, and then he could be off the next day. But for him, it's I get it, especially when you live together. We live together, and you got 2 days off from work, back to back. So yeah, I get it. Space, definitely space. What you think, Dana?
I need to ask you. You sure you want a part-time?
Man,
you're talking about part-time hours right there. I'm sorry, but what I value in relationship is loyalty. Be under, loyalty and understanding. Those to me, those can be hand to hand. You see my struggles, you see my strife, and yet you give me that room and that space for me to figure stuff out on my own. But yet you still being loyal to, and you see when I once I can't handle it or anything arise to where I'm getting stressed out, you're right there. That's that loyalty.
What about communication?
That's a given.
Yeah, mine
That
is
is a given.
mine is communication. People tend to bring their previous relationships to their new relationships, and what I mean by that is, if every time I talk to you, you feel like I'm arguing with you, that's something. I'm like I used to tell my ex, because I tell my boyfriend, we used to. He felt like he couldn't talk to me like a talk to me period, because he felt like every time he talked to me it was going to be an argument, and I had to let him know I am not her. I feel like you're comparing me to her. I'm not her. That's something that they used to go on in his previous relationship, that they used to argue all the time. So he wouldn't express himself. He wouldn't talk. When we, got together, he would start a conversation like, never mind, never mind, never mind. And I'd be like, stop doing that. That's so irritating to start a conversation and then just stop it because you feel like it's going to be an argument, and it's aggravating because I'm not her. I'm not going to argue with you for you talking. Yeah, you're talking. We're having a conversation. What is there to argue about? I don't argue anyway, but what is there to argue about? So communication to me is number one. Talk to me. If there's a problem, talk to me. Don't be afraid to talk to me. That's one of the things that irritates me when it comes to a relationship, because you rather talk to your homie than to talk to me, and I don't know what's going on. So you have to have that communication. Have to. So were there any other answers, Tika, to the question, what do you value in a relationship?
No, I was gonna touch on what you just said. Sometimes there are situations like that, where someone in a relationship is saying that they are getting advice from all these people that they're around on, and that they feel like it's something going on in the relationship, and they want advice, or they want advice on whether to end the relationship or not. So then it comes around that they end it, and other people say, oh yeah, I knew y'all was going, I knew that you guys were going to end, because the person had already talked to us about it, and okay, but of course you're in the dark because you wasn't in on that. So it's just kind of like you said, you're talking to everybody else, but and I understand getting advice, but talk to everybody else, but talk to me as well.
My thing is, why would you talk to somebody about your relationship that's one, ain't got no room to talk because they going through something worse than you in the relationship? That's what I don't understand. And why would you talk to somebody who knows both of us? You understand what I'm saying?
Correct. Yeah.
Why would you do that? Why would you talk to Ray Ray? I see Ray Ray every day at work. Me and Ray Ray, girl, man, why would you talk to him about our business? I'd rather you talk to somebody that I don't know. You know what I'm saying? So they can't judge me. You can't judge somebody you don't know. You shouldn't judge anybody at all. People do it all the time. But I'd rather you talk to, if you're going to talk about our relationship, I'd rather you talk to somebody that I don't know. That if I see them, I don't know who they are. I don't want to know who you're talking to about our relationship.
At least talk to somebody that has a history with longevity relationships, not short-term relationships.
Right.
Because
exactly.
You can get advice, and it can be bad advice. And you can have a friend that you confide in and not necessarily know this person is jealous of the relationship that you could possibly have. So again, you have to decipher who you speak to about that type of that type of situation. And then not all advice is good advice. You have to decipher and make your own choice and your own decisions within your life, because at the end of the day, whoever you're talking to is not in your shoes.
Exactly. So I don't know if neither one, do any of y'all watch the show Sisters by Tyler Perry? Excuse me.
Yeah.
I don't watch it consistently, but I know what you're talking about.
Okay, well, I started binge watching the show, and baby, all I do is laugh because the scenarios are real. People are really going through this in their relationships, and I tell you, that show got so much daggone drama.
Mm-hmm.
You hear me?
Yeah.
But it's real, and I can relate to two of those women. My favorite is Fatima and Danny. Those two personalities are me all the way. So those people are me all the way. I love them. I say that to say this. There's a character on there, Karen. I just want to punch her in her throat. She was in a relationship with the character Zach. And long story short, when she was with him, she always put him down. Put him down, made him feel like shit. Now Fatima comes along and all she do is lift this man up, and she's so understanding. She's a very understanding young lady. Now that he's moved on and he's in another relationship, now Karen wants to come and do what she's supposed to do. I use that scenario to go back to what we were just talking about. She had conversations with her friends about her relationship, but now one of them hoes got no room to help. Like why are you talking to them? They can't help you. They going through something worse than y'all all are going through the same thing in relationships. So I can't come talk to you. You understand what I'm saying? You can't help me. Your situation is just as bad as mine. So now, since I can't, it's four of us. All four of us going through the same thing in relationships. BS. So I can't come to you. So now I'm going to go outside the friendship. And sometimes you have to do that. Sometimes you can't talk to your friends about your relationship.
And sometimes we need to step back as women and evaluate ourselves.
Right. And this is
a lot of women don't do that. A lot of women.
Yes.
They quick to blame it quick to judge, but not necessarily stepping back and saying, well, what am I doing? What could I change? What could I make better?
Yeah, you really do have to do a self-check. I like to do self-checks before somebody try to check me.
Right.
I like to do self-checks and be like, you know what? That was petty. I was wrong. You have to. Because it's you, and you should know you. So it shouldn't be having somebody else telling you about a whole bunch of flaws that they believe that you have and things like that. But also, I think that when you had brought up sisters and things like that, I think it's just the perfect example of different types of relationship and things that we have discussed. Like you said, Maria, it lets you know that this stuff is real out here. That these topics, these issues that come along, whether it be family members, whether it be co-workers type relationships, and whether it be a partner, it is but they can go sour. They can go sour real quick. And so I think that how working on ways to maintain them and to build them up does take a lot of maturity, and like we talked about earlier just now, checking yourself and knowing what you have going on before you try to point out what someone else is doing. When you come to the table understanding yourself and not trying to tell the other person about themselves first, because we're quick to do that. Trying to tell somebody else about themselves. So,
Yes, definitely. So let's read a review that one of our listeners left us. She said, I loved all 9 episodes so far. I was answering questions while y'all were talking. Relationships with family is what hit home for me, as I wish we was able to work stuff out like adults. Like Dana said when she was talking about her siblings, favoritism is what I feel like helped in never correcting the wrongdoings of people to allow problems people allow for problems to continue within the families. I pray one day that these kind of generational curses can be broken within our families. So back when our ancestors were slaves, the masters couldn't control them. So she is so silly. Willie Lynch taught them how to break them. Now it's a long, 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 long review, but you get what she's saying. It's never corrected, so the favoritism is still there. And sometimes I feel like the parents know when they're showing favoritism. You know that you showing Malik more attention because he graduated from Harvard versus Trent that dropped out of high school and he's a drug addict. You're tired of sending him to rehab. You can't do that. In my opinion, when children do things, especially when they do things out of the ordinary, it's time for a conversation. Something is going on. Something is going on. And if you don't recognize it in the early stages, but next thing you know, Trent done killed everybody at the school. Because we show signs when things are bothering us and people just don't pay attention, or they don't like the listener said, they don't talk about it.
right.
You have to talk about it. And we're not just talking about regular relationships. We're talking about all types of relationships, the sibling relationships, the children, the mother and child, the dad and child, all different types of relationships. It's not just the siblings, it's all types. So you have to, when it comes to siblings, it's definitely favoritism is number one. And I still think even in the question that we have for today, I still feel like communication for both of them, because you have to, it's a lot of siblings that don't get along for whatever reason. I have paid attention to stuff. For an example, I was watching a show and I just couldn't understand why these two siblings couldn't get along. They just couldn't stand each other. Well, later on we found out they wasn't even really sisters and brothers. They were more like auntie. Let me get it right. The older sister raised the little sister as her own child. Is what happened. So it caused a conflict as they got older. Right. As they got older. So we can talk about these two topics all night long.
Right.
But you know what, Larry? The only component that links all of these topics is the line of communication.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Communication.
It's not. Yeah, the lines of communication is not open, and people have not yet grasped how healthy communication can really be.
Let me tell you something.
It is a very healthy thing.
It is. Let me tell you something. I was almost single. But I had to check myself and have a conversation with myself. Then after I had a conversation with myself, I had a conversation with my partner. So once he and I had our conversation and we got on the same page, I'm no longer feeling that I want to be single or by myself anymore, because we communicated with each other. We talked. After I figured out what the problem was, I went to my partner and we talked about it together and we fixed it. We solved it. You know? So again, communication is the key to all the relationships, even when it comes to conflicts between the siblings. It's communication. Some type of communication is missing between those two. Even if it feels like it is jealousy or the parents showing favoritism towards the other sibling, it's still a communication problem.
Right.
You know, it's still a communication problem. This is where the parents need to step in and talk to the siblings together and let them, you know, explain to them that I don't love neither one of y'all more than the other one. You know, the love is equal. But that's something that the parent has to communicate, because if you don't tell them, they don't know. All they see is that you treating one better than the other.
And a lot of parents don't realize that each child has a different personality.
Mm-hmm.
Allow that child to show you their personality and thrive, but make sure they understand the necessary corrections you're trying to correct.
Mm-hmm.
You know, for them to be able to succeed, for them
Right.
to have that understanding. You know, certain characteristics of yourself needs to change for the better. You don't allow that child to grow. You don't allow that child to blossom into the person they want to be or they could be, because you're too busy trying to redirect them on who you want them to be.
Right.
And you can't do that. And that's where, how we say, we buck the system every time.
Mm-hmm.
And they become more aggravated, agitated, and angry. And all of that fester as they grow. So, communication. Be able to talk to your child and allow your child to freely express themselves to you in a respectful way.
That part.
And
That part. That
and
part.
respect comes from both parties.
But a
From
lot of
both
parents,
parties.
some parents feel when the child express themselves, whether the child express themselves, in a respectful way or not, they still feel like you're being disrespectful. I'm not that parent. I'm that parent. I tell my kids quick, I'm not always right. However, if you correct me, you better have the right answer.
Right.
And you know
And you're right. Yeah.
you know, if I'm wrong, I'm not perfect. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Let me know. What did I do? How was I wrong? If you coming to correct me, you better come correct. And my oldest son get on my damn nerves because he does it every time. I disagree. Why, Black? And then he breaks it down to me, and then I'm like, you got it. You got it.
Yeah, and I say this is, this generation is really a new generation. A lot of our old school ways are fizzling out because of the rhetoric that, society has on these children. The stronghold, social media, distractions, so forth, so on. So it takes away from a lot, it takes a lot away from family, period.
Right.
So again, them old school ways, you rarely find them parents that have those values. Rarely. It's too many kids having kids for one thing.
Girl, why the grandmas is 30s and in their 20s?
That's the new grandma age now.
Girl.
Like I said, a lot is changing.
That is the new grandma age. You're right, because people, when they're with like the younger they are. I know I've been around kids. They'll be like, oh, that lady right there must be the great grandmother, and I'll ask the woman like, how old are you? And she'll be like, oh, I just turned 45. And I'll be like, okay, so you're the great grandma? I mean, but and then the kids will be like, yep, and she's the homie, she's the friend. Kids always tell me, no, my mom, grandmother, great grandmother, those are the homies, those are the friends. Like, we, like they just talk like they're friends. It's like the kids are raising themselves. Yeah. So.
And you know what? That makes me that goes back to me. Um, I'm starting to see a lot of these older ladies that's still trying to hang on to their youth they lost 40 years ago.
Don't be talking about me
Still
in my
try,
face.
Yeah.
Don't be talking about
like
me.
I said, I've been noticing these older ladies that are afraid to embrace their seasonship. I'm not gonna say old, I'm gonna say seasoned. Because
Yes.
at one point we was told, yeah, at one point we was told, I may be old, but you got to get to, you got to get to where I'm at one day, right? I know we all have heard that. And
Yeah.
now that
Yeah.
we are
Yes,
at
I've heard
that,
that. Yeah. You got to get to where I'm
okay,
at. Mm-hmm.
yeah, and now that we're at that point, now I don't know about y'all, but my eyes have been open. I understand, when I was told that phrase, and now that I'm at that age, I'm like, you know what? I'm about to embrace this whole. I turned 43 yesterday,
You old.
and
Oh,
and you know what?
Happy
I am.
belated.
Happy
Thank
born
you,
day.
thank you.
Because some people
And
haven't
I'm
made the
so
43,
happy.
so
Exactly. I am very blessed to be able to reach this stage at this point in my life. I'm very
right.
happy. I'm
Because a
very
lot of
blessed.
people ain't make it. You're right.
So I will never still try to recapture my youth. My youth is still here. I ain't lost it. I haven't lost it. Not one bit. I have people telling me I don't even much look my age, and that's a blessing.
Yeah.
Yes, it is a blessing.
We get that a lot. Sorry.
So I mean, ladies, come on. We have to get it together because it's better ways for us to raise these children. Times is changing. I understand we have to change with it, but the morals and the values would never change. That will always stay the same.
Yeah.
And that's what we're losing.
Girl, try. How about when hold on. This is a true story, y'all. Now, let me get it together. When the mama and both of her daughters, all three of them got the same baby daddy.
Ooh.
No, that's a sad case of ignorance.
That's disgusting.
That is
That's a sad.
yeah.
I'm trying to be nice about it. That's a sad case of ignorance. Because that man just made a complete fool of all three of them.
Mm-hmm. So your your grandbaby is a sibling to your girl. I said, how y'all do
Don't
that?
even put it together. Don't even try to put that together. Don't even try to put it together.
That's your grandchild, your damn, like your niece, your nephew.
I mean, just think when these kids get older, how they gonna tell people they related? That's gonna be embarrassment.
Because you know
That's
what's gonna
embarrassing in itself.
but you know what's gonna happen? They're gonna raise them different. They're gonna raise them up as cousins, not siblings, most likely.
And again, that goes back to one of our earlier topics: family secret.
Yep.
And again, that's where that cycle starts.
Disgusting. And you know what? At first I was mad at the dude, but I'm like, why would I be mad at him? They knew what the hell they was doing.
Exactly. Because as women, as the grandmother and the mother themselves, them two ladies themselves should have had more common with the sense to even just say, no, we're not even about to have this.
Mm-hmm.
That's just nasty.
Mm-mm.
That's just nasty. Yes.
That's sad. That is sad.
Very, very sad. Very sad. Sucks to be them.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Because when I found out, when she told me, because the girl, she was pregnant, and I'm like, oh, you have a baby. She goes, she the one told me the story. I was like, what? She was like, yeah, we got the same baby daddy. I was like, what?
And I'm proud of you, D. I am proud of you. I'm so proud of you. You handled that one very well, didn't you?
I did.
I'm very proud of you. You handled that one very well.
I was just
you
like,
the
wow.
person that I know you are.
I was just saying,
that
wow.
whole question would have turned. Yeah, you proud of that?
Yeah.
You better not ever tell nobody else about this story.
I was just like, wow. Like, damn. That's all I could. What could you say? I couldn't talk bad about her. Like, I was
Yeah,
like,
you just
damn.
like,
Yeah, like, damn. That's all I could say. I was like,
Look, I would have put a Bible on her hand and just said, "Baby, just start reading. Start from the beginning. Start from the beginning, sister. That's all you need to do, and that's the best advice I could have gave her. Hand her a Bible and just say, "Start from the beginning."
yeah, her and her sister had a lot of rivalry too, though. They was just always, oh, why y'all so jealous of each other?
mm-mm.
It's crazy.
Mm-mm. I mean, I like competition. Yes, I do, but
Not
some
for my
competition is
sister.
not healthy. Yeah, it's not healthy competition. This is like you doing stuff just to be vicious.
Mm-hmm.
People can be vicious at times, no matter what they are to you. I'd rather for the people out there in the streets to be vicious than my own face, because that cuts deep to the bone.
And people don't understand that. I can take it from somebody from the street. I couldn't take it from my family. Like, you supposed to be my fam, dog. You supposed to hold me down in the streets. But
it's life. It happens every day.
It is definitely that. Definitely that. I did have something to say. It left my daggone face. Sugarfoot.
All right, Evening.
Right. I couldn't remember what I was gonna say, but at the end of the day, we have come to the conclusion that communication fits all of these situations. What causes conflict between siblings other than favoritism? Communication. What do you value in a relationship other than honesty? Communication. So
Yeah.
at the end of the day, it looks like everything comes out to be communication. Excuse me.
We need to start from the littlest ones in recapturing that whole aspect of communication. Kids these days have their face so plastered into the TV, cell phones.
They don't even watch TV no more.
Girl, they watch. They just stream it. They stream it now. They don't watch TV. They stream. Everything is about streaming and TikTok and Facebook
and reality TV. I hate reality TV. I can't stand it. But
I like the fact that something that I was watching that they didn't. It's like some friends. They were friends, family. They just wasn't all one group. It was like friends, family members, stuff like that mixed together. And they were saying in order to repair their relationship, they wanted to just get together and talk for a weekend, and went to a nice size Airbnb, and everybody would have enough space, but the cell phones were locked away, and it was a few people that said they just could not do it. They could not go without their cell phones. And so like they just said, they said they couldn't do it. They could not function.
That's without sad.
And they said it wasn't even the fact that they felt like somebody was going to contact them or anything. It was just the fact that not being able to be on it, clicking on social media, doing that stuff. It was a couple of them that said that they could not do it. Other ones, they held out, and they said that they actually felt better after, they didn't have their phone. They said it was kind of like a relief not having to worry about having a phone and who was going to call, who was going to text, or what was going to be on social media, what's going to be on the news. They said it was like a relief, a stress reliever. But also they were able to repair their relationship versus the couple of people that couldn't do it were, still missing that communication piece. So
do overseas a couple of years ago, and I wish they would have did it here, they shut the social media down for 24 hours. I said, if they was to do that in the United States, do you know how many people would lose their everlasting mind?
Right.
Girl,
I wish they
half
would,
society,
though. I wish they
half
would.
society.
I wish they would. I wish they just shut the social media down for 24 hours.
Girl, half society and half of these kids would not be able to function. They will not be able to function. Lord Jesus, that would be a disorder in itself for real.
And that story that you gave, Tika, I think that's a great example of how to help people communicate. Take them phones out their hand, because what I don't like, if I'm talking to you, why are you in your phone?
Right.
I think that is so rude, and just I'm talking to you and you're in your phone.
Right.
Like, my thing is, I do not like to text. I hate texting. I think that is so impersonal. I think that it's so impersonal when you could just pick up the phone. As some sense, I understand. It's not possible for you to pick up and talk. I understand that. That's considering. But when you just, sitting around not doing nothing, and your thumbs and your fingers moving, when you could just pick up the phone, say what you want to say, make plans, that's lazy. That is just lazy.
I just started texting, to be honest. I didn't like texting either. I like, call me. I don't feel like texting no daggone paragraph.
Exactly. And then half of these people don't know how to spell. You
Girl,
can all these little S and H and stuff. I mean, like, what is that?
No, why somebody text me and spelled you YHU? I said, why couldn't you just put an O there? Like, I was like, what?
Yeah, what? I was like, what?
I was like, what is that word that you just put up there? You? Why couldn't you just spell it?
Or just put a U, that's simple. But look, that's probably what it is. Half of these people, and that's another problem. Half of these people vocabulary, they don't lost it.
Yeah, it is gone.
I mean, y'all better look. Y'all better start playing Scrabble, because these cell phones is breaking y'all minds for real.
True.
And the way they talk, I mean, it's not a correct English.
Mm-mm.
You don't have to know how to talk no more. You just need to know how to work your fingers on the phone now.
I mean, but when you get out in the business world, we as minorities, we already have statistics. We already, got a lot of statistics on us. But yet, and still, you're adding to what these people are already saying. We are incapable of doing. And that's communication. Once again, communication.
Everything leads to communication.
There you go. Exactly.
Because if I don't talk, I don't like. My boyfriend does it a lot, and it irks the fuck out of me. You know what I mean? No, I can't stand it. And he'll start, and he talk, and he only finished talking his conversation. I said, "Listen, I don't understand shit you just said." And he started laughing. I said, what did you just say to me? He said, I said a whole lot. I said, you didn't say nothing. He'll be like, for example, he'll be like, A, B, C, D, you know what I mean? And I'm like, what?
Wait, what?
Like, what? What did you just say?
Dika, you remember Grandma used to pop us in the mouth when we didn't speak correct English? She'd be like, what you say? What was that? My grandma used to pop shit, man. She'd catch us real quick. What did you just say? Nothing. Okay, well, let me know you learned something in school. We used to catch it. If it wasn't our grandma, it was our aunties. They used to catch us. And so that really stuck with me. The generation of this age, Danny, you talk like a white person.
Right. That's what they say about me. What's crazy
exactly.
is we wasn't raised in the projects. But if you talk to me, you'll think I was. Sometimes I wasn't raised in the projects. Like the way I talk to some people, I wouldn't dare talk like that in front of my family.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't dare, because we come from a family of very educated people.
But at least you can switch it up, though. I mean,
I can switch it up now.
Some people
Look,
can.
we need be we can make that quick exchange real quick, can't we?
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
But when business needs to be handled, we put our business face on.
Right.
Change your game, but we got to put our game face on.
Indeed, indeed, indeed. People used to tease me. They used to call me an Oreo cookie. And it's like, you just talk so proper. And I'm like, I really don't. I got my ass whipped enough to speak correct English.
Exactly.
And don't let us can't pronounce a word. We had to write that word 100 times and write it in a sentence and use that word all day long.
Make sure and hold on, you forgot. Get that dictionary. Tell me whether it's a noun, pronoun, adjective, verb.
We had to do all of that.
I mean,
But
break it down.
That is a great way.
It is.
Mm-hmm.
Now the parents just give the kids their phone and their iPads and just tell them go on, because they don't want. And that's another thing I don't like. Some of these parents need to communicate
with their children by the cell phone.
They need to communicate with their children. Period. The child, just to get them out your face, you give them a daggone iPad or the phone so they can play the game. Give that baby a book.
Yeah.
Read a book.
Yeah, because I mean, if you look at the statistic of the reading skill level of minorities, we have fell short and we're steady declining. Steady declining. And nowadays we have some of the 30 and 40-year-olds that still do not know how to read. Even at a first grade level, they do not know how to read.
That is true.
So again, that's where that statistic falls in at, and we're at the all-time high of it.
Communication.
There you go.
Communicate with the kids on what they need to do. Get your if you don't do nothing else, get that education. Or do I need to speak in bonnets? Get that education.
I mean, you know what I told my sister Hope and Tisha? I told both of them. I said, you know what? College is not for everybody. At least graduate high school. Make sure you have a high school diploma, GED.
And college isn't. You have to be prepared for college.
Exactly. College is not for everybody.
You have to want to be there and want to do the work. So yeah, and it's not for everybody. I know people who's making 3 times as me, and they did a trade and working in their trade, and they doing wonderful things, but they were like, college was not for me. It was, and it is not for everybody.
It's not.
It's overrated.
I went to college.
And you know what?
But I'm like, I need a few credits just to get a daggone degree. I'm over it. Like you said, I make more money doing what I do now versus if I was to continue to go to school and then pay these daggone student loans and stuff. They don't tell you that part of school. They tell you to go to school, but they don't tell you about the debt.
Yep, and that was my next comment. They tell you they want to push for you to get an education, go to college, get this degree. I know people now that have master's degrees that not working in their field, working in retail, working in a customer service job, and it's more rewarding to them than they will be using their degree.
Right.
And I know people that don't have degrees and that's making more money than people that do have degrees.
Yeah, it's definitely possible. Shoot, I know somebody. I know a few people like that.
Yeah, but one thing they do leave out is that by the time you graduate college, you graduating with a full stack of debts as well.
Yep. Yes, you are.
So, how they say, that is a life decision. Going to college really is a life decision.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
And it has more pressures than a little bit because you're considered an adult the people ain't about to call your parent or call
Mm-mm.
your guardian when you messing up.
And that
They gonna
comes
call the
back to what?
government.
When it's
They gonna call the government and say, you know what? Even though she assigned to this class, she was dropped. You still got to pay for that class.
Yep.
Mhm.
So
Unless you
again,
get lucky and get some scholarships or grants.
and baby, and nowadays them scholarships are not fully covering you for college. They're not fully covering you. Some states have tacked on out of town fees. If you're not a resident of that state,
Oh, I know.
you're gonna pay out of town fees, and your scholarship does not cover that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
So
over it.
it's some loophole now. True enough, you got to find that loophole, but it's very little, very little. So again, make that life decision because you gonna have some debt when you come out.
Indeed.
Mm-hmm.
Indeed. You would definitely have some debt when you leave. Yep.
It's about making, sitting down, talking with your people, and just making, that support system.
Mm-hmm.
And you yourself have to have that understanding that this is what I really want to do. If this is really what I want.
Well, I tried it. I made the honor roll. I just didn't finish. It was just I had too much.
Look, I had too much fun in college. I ain't
I
gonna
had too
lie
much
to
going
you. I
on.
did.
I had too much going on, and too much going on. I was thinking, which is funny. I was thinking about school the other day, thinking about going back and just finishing, get finished to get my credits to get my degree.
Mm-hmm.
I had a friend here that asked me what I'm gonna go back because I have 18 months to go before I get my associate. And he was like, "Well, take this time to go back to school." I said, "This day and age, you talking about tripling my debt that I got now for school? Don't you know it's so the man, it's so expensive. Going to school costs more than a house.
Mm-hmm.
Literally, the interest rate alone will kill you."
I'm about to take. I don't know. I want to take a refresher class because English is my favorite subject, and then I need to. It's I don't know. Tika, you probably heard of it. Dana, you may have heard of it too. It's called 100 Words That You Should Know Before You Graduate College.
Yes.
I got that.
Yes.
I had got that list in school when I was in college, so I want to go back through that list and I want to go through and learn them. I need to rebuild my vocabulary because I don't talk.
Half of them words you don't even much use.
Mm-mm.
Half of those words you don't even much use. Why? Why would you torture yourself like that?
I like to learn.
I like to learn too. History is my favorite subject.
I like history too. Well, Greek. I like Greek mythology. That's my favorite in history. I love Greek mythology.
I like history. Period. It's
a lot of people think history is boring, but it's not. I like history too. History.
If you look at society today, you would see history as repeating itself just in a modern time way.
Yes, it is. Yeah, yes, it is.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
It's repeating.
So again, I love history.
Yeah, I like
I
history.
love history.
So.
And Greek mythology. I love Greek mythology as well.
Okay.
I know it's weird, but some people say that's a weird subject.
Well, history is the jam. History and English and science. Science just make my head hurt sometimes.
But do you understand how science is incorporated into different, science is incorporated into English, into history, into biology. So many branches. And to just pinpoint science alone, that's just the basics. But science is branched out in so many ways and so many fields where people really don't, think of the aspect of the Scientology of English, different how to say, different vocabulary, different languages. That's, you have to look at the rhetoric of how the letters is pronounced. They're pronounced different, especially when you speak Spanish, when you speak in Italian, when you speak in Greek. You still have the the ABCD at the alphabets, but they're pronounced different.
It does.
And that's science. The science behind it. And it all resorts back to what?
Communication.
Exactly.
There's communication.
So again, all of that resorts back to that whole topic we have been talking about today, ladies. Communication.
Communication. Now, before we end the podcast for this evening, I would like to read one more review from Nicole. Her title is Enjoying It. She said, I have been enjoying these podcasts. I don't normally listen to podcasts, but your podcasts have me feeling like you're right in my living room, sipping and conversation. Keep up the great work, ladies. Thank you, Nicole.
Thank you.
Thank you, Nicole.
Thank you, girl.
Yes, we are in your living room, girl.
Yes. Y'all ain't seen nothing yet. It gets better. It gets better. We have so many things that's coming. Tika, is there anything that what's going on with Tika Loves Fashion? You ain't talked about that in a while.
Tika Loves Fashion, well, because I've been selling out of items.
We gotta put that website up there.
Yeah, the tikaloves.com. I am restocking there's a lot of items up there, but I am restocking the body butter. We'll have some different scents soon. I did sell out. So to those customers who helped that process, I thank you. And buying all of my other items, I thank you. You guys know I ship very fast, so and thank you to everyone who has been return customers as well. But yes, it's tikaloves.com, and I have beauty products, and just go check it out.
Dana, is there anything that you would like to say?
Yes, I would like to add, since our last talk about a sibling rivalry, and my sisters and I have opened up a great line of communication with each other.
That's awesome.
And it is actually getting better. So I just want to let some of the listeners know the progress that we have made within our families as well. And coming to you and talking about these topics, it's not only helping you as listeners, it's helping us, as the ones that's participating in the podcast. So I would like to thank you, Maria and Tika, for allowing me to be able to express myself, and as well as learn from you two ladies and the listeners, to put forth progress within my own life. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Dana. Thank you, Dana. Yes, ma'am. And keep in mind, listeners, you can listen to us on Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, Audible, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Spotify. You can also listen to us on Podbay. And yes, we do have a YouTube. You can listen to us there also. You can Google us, baby, and we'll pop up. You can also listen to us on our website, which is Sipping with Maria, 3, Tika, TIKAGEE.com. Again, thank you for listening to Sipping with Maria and Tika G every Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Don't forget your wine.